Um, you know what? So sometimes writers will write something, and then people will push back and they say, I didn't write the headline. Well, Barry, take it. Whether you wrote the headline or not, it represents perfectly what you should be saying and what every Washington Commanders fan should be feeling. Carson Wentz isn't the answer. End story. I could write the whole thing in about 75 words. I can finally make deadline. This trade, I could have made deadline, Michael. This is still the day after. It blows my mind on many levels, just like the obvious ones. You know, Washington, we got our jokes in about the Commanders, and there's truth in every joke, and everybody knows with the Commanders, everything we said is 100% accurate. I'm surprised that the Commanders took on Carson Wentz's full contract. I'm surprised that they may wind up losing an additional second-round pick. It may not be 2/3. It might be a second and a third, and then the pick swap that we talked about yesterday. I'm also surprised, and we didn't really give this enough investigation, and you tell me if you agree with this. I think it's fair to say Carson Wentz is a better quarterback than Taylor Heineke. But if I'm Washington, I'd rather have Taylor Heineke than Carson Wentz, right?
Better at what?
I guess, you know, he's got better traits. He had more touchdowns last year than Heineke. He had fewer interceptions than Heineke. He had a better quarterback rating. But this is all minimal stuff. It's minimal, right, that, what you just did. And I'm trying to make the argument because I'd stay with what I had. And I would say, okay, I'll build around Heineke. That's not a championship formula. I don't think that guy is going to win your championship. But Carson Wentz is not going to win your championship either. And when you found out that Russell Wilson, surprise, surprise, didn't want to come to your stank organization, you knew you weren't going to win a Super Bowl this year anyway. So why not be patient? Hold on to your capital for trade somewhere else. Not just to hold on to it to draft it, but hold on, you use that third round picks, go out, get another defensive player. Go out, get somebody on the offensive line. Fortify the rest of your team, and then live to fight another day on the quarterback front. Or, Mike, maybe you fall in love with one of these quarterbacks in the draft. I just don't understand why they were just so early and so eager and so thirsty to go after Carson Wentz. It really, the more I think about it, the more confusing it is to me. And that too.
They say you're not supposed to believe everything you read. And yesterday, it's funny, so I see Darius Leonard's tweet basically shouting out Carson Wentz and thanking him. And I'm like, yeah,
Kind of.
By all accounts, Carson Wentz is a no, he didn't kind of thank Carson Wentz. He did. He complained about the revolving door at quarterback in Indianapolis. But then I remember saying yesterday, like, hey, Carson Wentz, people like him, nice guy. Maybe he is a nice guy off the field. And this is kind of counterintuitive as a former newspaper man myself, ourselves, as members of the media. But they say don't believe everything you read, especially nowadays. But it's hard not to give some credibility when you're reading the same thing, two teams in a row in two very different markets. So this is The Athletic's Zach Kiefer. It wasn't just a football move. Wentz's play, inconsistent as it was to close the year, wasn't the deciding factor. Colts brass simply didn't trust him to be the franchise quarterback moving forward. And they weren't willing to bring him back in 2022 and hope for better. Thus, the decision was made swiftly after the Week 18 debacle in Jacksonville. Wentz wouldn't return for a second season in Indianapolis. The quarterback, who learned he was on shaky ground with the organization over the last month, reached out to Jim Irsay in hopes of setting up a meeting to quote-unquote clear the air, a source said. Irsay declined the meeting because he was out of town. The two spoke later. So, leadership, reckless style of play, lack of coachability. It just sounds familiar. And when you look at it, both these franchises were not only inclined, but they bent over backward to accommodate Carson Wentz's development and, shall we say, emotional well-being. Philadelphia, I'm not sure what else Philadelphia could have done. You want to blame them for taking a quarterback in the second round? Then, okay, that's on you. But Philadelphia gave this dude the moon and the stars and moved heaven and earth to make Carson Wentz the man. Got rid of Nick Foles. You know, like, they did everything possible to make Carson Wentz feel good. Broke him off something real proper-like when it came to that contract that the football team or the Commanders has now assumed.
Just took it.
The Colts, like, you can't thrive under Frank Reich. Like, it just, what does it say about you? So I gotta ask the people in Washington. I mean, you know, it's not the first time somebody asked the people in Washington, what the hell are they doing? But, like, I just wonder how much homework they did. And this list of quarterbacks that they were desperate to address this position as quickly and expeditiously as possible. Like, who did they talk to? Because I'm like, how does the same thing get said in Philadelphia that's being said in Indianapolis, and at least some of it not be true, and at least some of it not be true regarding Carson Wentz and his personality? So if your quarterback ain't the most liked guy in the building by the people he works with, I'm not talking about his teammates, I'm talking about the coaches, I'm talking about management. The quarterback is supposed to be an extension of both of those. So this has failure, this has disaster written all over it. But I guess that's consistent with the organization now known as the Commanders.
There is a larger story here, but please, folks, let's bring that Darius Leonard tweet up one more time. We'll park there temporarily, keep the motor running because we're going somewhere else. But I'll say, all right, this is why I said Darius Leonard kind of shouted him out yesterday. Now he's trying to say thank you to Carson Wentz. Oh, so if I'm trying to say thank you, Michael Smith, I start off with, here we go again, Diana, thank you. About to be 5 years with the Colts and 5 different quarterbacks. That ain't a thank you. And then we get to it. Oh, thank you, Carson, for everything this year, my guy. Wish you nothing but the best. You could have said that about anybody. You could have said that about the other quarterbacks who were there. So it was clear that wasn't really I'm going to miss this dude. It's like, hey, thank you. He's just being nice. Darius Leonard's being nice. But what I want to say about this trade for Washington, Washington's the extreme. When we say it's a quarterback league, everybody knows it. It is. Passing league is geared toward the offense, blah, blah, blah. You heard it a million times, and it's all true. But Washington, we talked about panic earlier with James Harden. He panicked when he saw Kevin Durant get hurt. Washington panicked. It's still March, man. It's March. You still got your first round pick. You still got work to do, believe it or not, on your draft vetting process. You still have a little more film to watch. The free agency starts on Monday. You don't like what? You shouldn't be trading for Carson Wentz. You think Carson Wentz is your best answer right now? So they took the quarterback league to an extreme, thinking, yeah, it's a quarterback league, so we got to get one before April 1st, even though our first game's not until September. It's just really stupid. But larger than that, do you feel like the teams that are without quarterbacks, do you feel like there's a similar discomfort? Like in Carolina, is Carolina uncomfortable knowing that they don't really have a strong quarterback situation? Indianapolis now.
I'd say so.
Indianapolis, do you think Indianapolis is panicking? Clearly, they traded Carson. They had a quarterback.
There's a sense of urgency. Well, yeah, I mean, step one was getting rid of the one they had, and I guess, there's always a sucker. So, the Commanders helped them with their process. Now they have a vacancy. Now they can add a veteran quarterback, whether it's Jimmy Garoppolo or somebody else. I think most of the teams that have questions at quarterback have a better plan in place than giving Carson Wentz a third try to the tune of 2 third-round picks. I think I'll say that. I mean, whether they're panicking, whether the price of pork bellies or frozen concentrated orange juice is panicking because the wife going to want to make love to him because they can't buy their son the GI Joe with the Kung Fu grip. Panicking. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, but I think that if you are the Giants, you're a new general manager, Joe Shane, and you just brought in Brian Daboll. I like the idea of bringing in Mitchell Trubisky as a free agent. Somebody else's mistake, whether drafting him in the first place or poorly developing him, bringing in a familiar face to compete with Daniel Jones. Your other mistake. That's a plan. That seems to make sense. If you're Pittsburgh, you've always drafted. So it makes sense that Pittsburgh is going to sit tight and draft somebody, even though that's an organization that's certainly been quarterback-driven throughout its glorious history. Cleveland's got to figure out its Baker Mayfield situation one way or the other. But in the meantime, they'll settle for Baker Mayfield. Houston, Davis Mills, they'll get some kind of value for Deshaun Watson if and when he's willing to play. So as I go down the list, it's not as many teams as one would think without a quarterback. I think there's two conversations.
From that list?
Do we have a quarterback? And do we have a superstar quarterback that can take us to the Super Bowl, we believe? So there's the rich, there's the contenders, there's the teams trying to get to that level, which Denver just did by getting Russell Wilson. Then there's the middle class. Then there's the teams that have either young quarterbacks who they think have promise, just throwing out one in Chicago. There's Minnesota with Kirk Cousins, who some teams would love to have Kirk Cousins right now. Last year of his contract, hasn't won anything, but you could do a lot worse than Kirk Cousins. There's Philadelphia that think they got something in Jalen Hurts, but he ain't the second coming necessarily. So when you go down the list,
not yet.
There's only a few teams that are in the Seattle, that are in the Carolina, New Orleans, Tampa Bay now, Detroit, Goff's just a placeholder. Who else?
That's
pretty much it, and the Steelers. So there's only a few teams that just have a huge, big-ass question mark at quarterback.
Right.
Most of them have somebody that they're like, okay, we're fine, or we're hopeful that he is the long-term answer. So Washington was in that rarefied. Washington was in a poorhouse when it comes to quarterback. In that, Taylor Heineke ain't it. We got to get somebody. So that desperation, I guess, forced them to overpay for one of the few available guys. I'm with you. I would have gone the draft route personally, if I were the Commanders, as opposed to giving up that much draft capital.
Or just hold a position. Just hold the line. Hold the line. Now, if you're the coach, and I'm trying to look at it from all perspectives. So you're a general manager. Mayhew, the general manager, you got a little bit of a grace period. So you don't have to, nobody's expecting you to win this year. Hey, you got this job. You got a championship roster. We want to see some results right now. You're not there. If you're Ron Rivera, most coaches think this way. Most coaches who don't have the final say, they want to win now. They don't want to hear about a long-term plan. They don't want to hear about 2 years from now. Give me some wins now. So if you're Ron Rivera and you're concerned about job security, what you do is just try to negotiate one more year on your case. Get a little extension. Get a mini extension on your contract. Like, look, if you're going to ask me to deal with this quarterback situation just to wait, then I want some more. I want to get paid for that. I'm just trying to be fair, Mike. Really, why did Washington do it? Can you give me
honestly,
positive?
Yes. I'll give you not a positive, but much simpler. I think we're overthinking it. You know what I think? Here's what I think.
He's a big name.
That's part of it. I think Daniel Snyder and his organization is delusional enough to think that they're a quarterback away. And
quarterback away from what?
a quarterback away from, well, I agree, but in their mind, a quarterback away from the Super Bowl. They're looking at it like, oh, Tampa got Tom Brady. They went to the Super Bowl. You know, the Rams got Matthew Stafford, who had never won anything, and they went to the Super Bowl and won it the same way. Let's get it on this trend. This is the hot trend. You trade for a quarterback and poof, you're in the Super Bowl. That's probably the long and short of it, honestly. And that's the only guy they could get. The only guy that they could actually get, realistically, was Carson Wentz. So those picks were burning a hole in their pocket, and they had to get Carson Wentz. That's probably the long and short of it. They just wanted to get in on this action. Everybody else out here trading for quarterbacks and getting headlines and getting buzz about their team. Let's do something. Probably the long and short of it. It probably doesn't have to make football sense. They probably didn't do their due diligence about the person. They just wanted to get in on this action, get some of this quarterback, you know, buzz.
You know what I do?
For them. The same as these other teams.
I tell you what I would do.
That's all it is.
I'll tell you too.
We gave them way too
back
much
in the
credit.
day. Okay, we are. Okay, let's go back in the day. Let's go back to Washington Street in the South End of Boston, and right above Flower Bakery, and go back to our franchise modes. And for you, you were on Boylston Street. Were you on Boylston Street in Jamaica Plain? Was that your address?
Sounds right. That sounds right.
All right. So, franchise mode, we start off with a bad team. If I'm the general manager,
Always.
if I'm franchise,
That's a challenge.
I'm going franchise mode on the Washington Commanders. First thing I do, I hold on to Taylor Heineke, that I sign a quarterback. And his name was up there. He's a free agent. You know who I signed? And I'm comfortable because I know I've helped our culture and I've brought some competition to the position. Tyrod Taylor. Sign Tyrod Taylor. I mean, that's a safe signing.
Bring him back home.
I might go 7-10 with Tyrod Taylor, but I know I'm not.
Hey, by the way,
I know I'm not a championship
Small thing.
team.
Small thing. And this is not me, like, you know, being, you know, that guy. What do you call that guy? That old by the way guy. You know, it's Tyrod. Did you know that? And I only learned that a couple years ago. Mm-hmm.
It's Tyrod.
It's been Tyrod for the masses for years. It's Tyrod Taylor.
It's Tyrod. Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.